Are you ready to get philosophical?
I fucking love this shit.
Beautiful listeners, you are worth all the stars in the sky.
Hell yeah.
And at least 2 perfectly cooked grilled cheeses.
Hell yeah. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Sometimes. He's been known to shit in a liquor tent. Yeah, pick up a book, losers.
Pick up a book, losers.
Welcome to the Base Banter Podcast.
Yo, I did not want to start the podcast like this. What is up, everybody? I said yo, like as if I was a professional yo-yo-er.
He's yodeling.
But what is up? Welcome to another amazing, spectacular episode of the Base Banter Podcast. You know what? There are no redos, there are no retakes, and this is gonna be straight from the dome, as it always is.
Keeping it based.
I'll be your host today. My name is Jerry, joined as always by my co-host Joey. Joey, say what is up.
Howdy, partner.
He did it. He said the thing. I don't know what thing, but that's the thing from somewhere.
Meowdy, partner.
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
But holy crap, everybody, this is a brand new podcast. Not just in the sense of you're hearing this for the first time, but we have been reborn like a phoenix from the ashes. And there's been so much development go on here lately that has been so refreshing.
Yeah, rewarding, validating, and a lot of character development, a lot of leveling up over here at the Base Banter Studios.
And buddy, it was the Fanboy Expo that it was the incubator for all of this, and dude, here we are now.
And off the cuff,
we met so many amazing people. We met some of you awesome listeners, and boy, I am forever changed because this was a real connection with people.
Yeah.
Dude, what was your favorite part about all of this?
Oh, dude, it was the getting to do what we do, but with like total strangers, you know, because when you look around at the Fanboy Expo, you know, it's a convention center full of like artistic integrity, like people drawing and selling their drawings, people selling merchandise, people selling their trinkets, and then also indulging in pop culture. But then you get to our podcast and our table and our booth, and then it's like an entirely different experience. We give this totally different experience where you can come up to us and engage in conversation, right? So my favorite thing was like just getting to talk to everybody and talk to many different people, and every one of them was special and interesting in their own way, from authors to people who had unique skills, and then just like enhancing our own talent and skills with conversation, and then finding that validation in what we do, and getting the feedback from people, and then the compliments from people saying, I don't know how you do it. Each person that comes up to your table, you give them the same energy as the last person for 12 hours straight.
Oh yeah. And the biggest thing about all of that is just how rewarding it is, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, buddy. And you know what? I would like to give back a little bit to everybody and give all of these awesome people that entered our giveaway, that came up to our booth. I want to give them a little shout out because we do have some of the entries right here. And buddy,
shout out to all of those players who you either won or you didn't win. Either way, you made an impact on us.
You made an impact, and whether or not you know it, you are definitely a winner in our books.
Yep.
So, shout out first to, we won't go into as many details are on these, but shout out to a Bella, and shout out to Ryder.
Yeah, shout out to Danny Shoemaker. And shout out to Eli C. He left us a little message that says, thanks, guys. I'll make sure to give the podcast a listen. See you later, crawlers.
And also, thank you to Karibo. Thank you to Mika.
Thank you to Ashley Allen with the Wounded Warrior Projects. And thank you to Holy shit, I can't read your name. Something Tommy. Thank you, Tommy.
Yes, thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Josephine. And thank you, Janet.
Thank you to the Teacup Ballerina, especially for this awesome Powerpuff Girls drawing. And thank you to this little message that says the Princess Posse for life. And then we have one more last one here for you. This is a flower. It's the flower of life. It's the flower of life.
You can keep that flower.
This is the flower of life.
You know what? Lice hates to see me coming. Lice hates to see me coming because you know what? There is nowhere to hide on this fucking round-ass noggin of mine.
The flower of lice. Thank
flower
you.
of lice.
And then also a special shout out goes to the Beetlejuice girl. So thank you guys so much for participating, and thank you for coming to our booth and talking with us, sharing your stories. You know, we had people who were dressed up as fairies. We had people dressed up in cosplay, such as like anime characters, video game characters, and people from all walks of life. And one specific shout out I want to give to a very special person. His name is Richard. Richard, if you're listening, you are the man, dude. You came to us multiple times. We had over an hour-long conversation going in depth on the controversial topics we love to talk about on our podcast, and we were able to talk about it with you in an intellectual level from an objective standpoint without offending or causing some kind of like preconceived notion, and it all comes from like a really good place, dude. That is what we are all about.
A big thank you to Richard, because you know what? He embodied the spirit and he got it, and it was just awesome to find extra people that get it, man, because you know what? There are times where you and I get to like hang out. In this particular situation that I'm bringing up was after the con, and you know, get a few drinks to celebrate because everything was going freaking great, and we go out to some bars, and you know what? You get chatting up with some people, and and then that spirit, you get to see the spirit of the podcast in people, and they
in real
fucking
time.
love it in real time, talking about, oh, I would love to do a podcast. What would your podcast be about? And it is just amazing to watch people light up because there is so much that everyone wants to say.
Right. Conversations are meant to be had and meant to be heard. And, you know, the best conversations are with your friends and with your strangers that you can connect with. Like you said, dude, as soon as we walked out of the con, it didn't stop. You know, from the moment we met, the people that we met, went out to hang out with, and from there to the bars, interacting with each individual, talking about, you know, travel to conspiracies to ancient history. The topics are intrinsically fascinating, and it's just validating in of itself that the things that we're interested in are the things that you're interested in, which is why we do this.
Yeah, buddy. And so all of this has got me into a deep thought, and man, bam,
Bam, bam, bam,
what was that sound?
Bam, bam, thank you, man.
It's got me into a deep thought, and I've been thinking really hard.
Oh, shit.
And so much so, some steam started coming out.
His
I'm
head's growing.
overworking it.
His head's growing.
But it's got me thinking about something, right? So it's got me thinking about this little thing called legacy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Buddy, what do you know about legacy?
Oh, well, for my own legacy, you know, I don't really have much of an answer anecdotally, but I have seen and I know about other legacies, an artistic legacy, musician's legacy. You know, it's just the impact you leave behind, right?
It is. And you know what? Legacy is actually for the living. Whenever you think of like a legacy, you might think of like someone that has like gone and done and passed. But legacy is actually for the living. And I'll explain. So it is a tool that we use to find meaning in the present.
Okay.
So just the thought of legacy, we get to thinking about how we want to remember. And it forces us to audit how we are living right now.
Right.
My goodness, some good old thinking.
Some good old thinking.
But it's a mirror. So if you want like a whole legacy of kindness, you got to be kind today. You want a legacy of creation, you got to build today. And these angles of legacy, man, it's just got me thinking of what kind of impact that I want to make. And
Right.
obviously, I have a decent answer for that because I've thought this out because surely the digital medium will far surpass me. You know what I mean?
All right. So I will set the tone for you.
Okay.
Gerald the Third, or whatever number you are. What?
13th, 100th, and 21st.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I want a legacy that whenever somebody is doing something really kind or just something thoughtful, they're just like, that would make him proud.
Okay.
Not really, though.
What the fuck? You gonna hit us with a curveball out the gate?
No, I want a legacy where you think about how you were moved by something, that I made you feel something, that I made you think in ways that you didn't think you could think and feel things to depths that have never been felt before.
Okay.
Buddy, I mean, that sounds very extreme, and it sounds like
The legacy of inspiration.
the legacy of inspiration. I want to move people out
Okay.
of my way. I'm trying to go somewhere.
Okay, hell yeah. So I guess I'll give you an answer too.
Yes. No. Wait. Buddy, what about your legacy? What kind of legacy do you want to have?
I want to leave a legacy behind, or in current times, that is similar in the same sense, that is inspiring to make people to do the thing, to look at what I've done in my life, be it art, be it pro wrestling and streaming and video games, or just engaging in conversation with people. I want them to be moved to a point where they are also inspired to do the thing. Just do it. Be inspired to do it. Just go out and fucking do it. Don't think about it. Don't worry about being overwhelmed. Don't worry about the obstacles. Trust the process. You look at someone like me, I'm just your average Joe. If I can do something, anything, then anyone can do this shit.
Yeah. If he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
We
You
can
got
do
it.
it. You
But-
can do it.
So the funny thing about this is that even though we sit here and we try to plan and we try to like figure it out, map it, I was like, this is the kind of impact, like this is the legacy I'm gonna leave. Dude, wouldn't you fucking know it that most legacies are accidental?
Oh, yeah.
Like often. And we will think of legacies like this highly curated, planned out, like, I got to do this so this happens, and it's just like connecting dots. But history, man, the history shows us that some of the most powerful legacies are entirely accidental.
Right.
So there is a writer of the name of Franz Kafka, and whenever he died, he wanted all of his friends to burn his manuscripts for whatever reason. But, well, not his friends, a friend in particular. And now he is a cornerstone of world literature. There's also, I got a reference here. Someone that you'll know. Okay, do you know about Pompeii's graffiti writers?
No.
No. Good job. Okay.
Good job for your lack of intelligence.
Good job, because that's an excellent segue to something more interesting. How about, buddy, you ever heard of a thing called Play-Doh?
Yeah, that's that shit you mold into whatever shape you want, right?
Just like young adolescent minds. No.
God.
No, but wow, I don't know where that came from.
The deep, dark demon was allowed to come forth for just a second.
Hey, pull him back. What the hell was that?
The pilot of your soul was like, yeah, manufacture those little children into listening to your content.
But this is all related somehow, because the accident on like why their legacy is cemented was in the 30s. The manufacturing company had like manufactured it's Kudal, if you was interested. Kutal manufactured a soft, like pliable clay. So
it was Plato. Okay.
It was Plato in
Okay.
every sense, but
I thought you meant Plato the philosopher.
yeah, Plato.
Ooh,
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, Plato, before he had any bones, he was used to clean soot off of wallpaper.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Makes
and-
sense.
Yeah, and so then by the 50s, whenever he started developing a few bones in his body, coal heating was declining.
Mm.
It just got weird because he had bones and it's
Makes
not-
it a little less malleable.
a little less pliable. Like whenever you got like a femur bone like sticking out, and
Makes sense.
it doesn't help that he's like crying while you do it.
Checks
so-
out. Yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. Pain sensors start to develop. Yeah.
So right, picture this: it's the 1950s. Coal heating is declining. Nobody's burning coal to stay warm, and the company did not have anything to do with this Play-Doh that would clean the soot off of some freaking wallpaper. So what had happened was the inventor's sister-in-law, a nursery school teacher, realized that kids love playing with the wallpaper cleaner.
Okay.
The kids themselves saw this thing was getting into it and molding it around, and it's easier to mold than like traditional like modeling clay.
Is Play-Doh the same like shit as that stuff that you get to like take the words off of like newspapers? You know what I'm talking about?
Silly putty.
Silly putty. Yeah.
Silly
Is that the
putty.
same thing?
It is entirely different.
What the fucking bullshit is that?
So here's the fucked up part. So before they started selling,
the fucked up part. Inside every can of Play-Doh was a can of meth.
for free.
For free.
Get your free meth. No, the fucked up part is that the kids are playing with it. Then the company was like, oh, well, we could sell this. And then he's like, well, before we sell this, we should probably remove the detergents.
Oh, yeah. You don't want kids fucking having like chemicals and shit all over them.
It had
You
industrial.
gotta remove the
cleaners.
meth. You have to remove the meth.
Yeah, buddy. And then, okay, I got one more rider for you. Maybe you've heard of this one. And then we can talk about the legacies of tomorrow.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds good. Give commentary on my own shit.
I like what I just did there. That was some clean shit right there. Mm-hmm.
But there's a poet by the name of Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
Heard of her?
No,
Well,
I have heard of her actually.
okay, awesome. So she, just like you, lived a very incredibly reclusive life.
Damn, call me out like that shit. Fuck. Didn't know I was gonna take stray shots today.
That one wasn't a stray. It was kind of like aimed at you, like, but like
She, like,
like,
you,
what?
is also gay.
gay. No, but Joey is the most social person I know. I have never seen this man not be in a conversation.
That is a lie. That is a lie. I spent 10 hours gaming on Twitch last night. You know what that means? I was alone for 10 hours.
That means that you, like Emily Dickinson, lived an incredibly reclusive life, and you have also published fewer than a dozen poems.
me and her should get together, dude. Sounds like my type of lady.
You know what? If she was still alive, you could do that.
Sounds
So-
like my type of lady.
But while she was alive, she published fewer of like her 1,800 poems. That's a lot of poems. And then often like heavily edited by publishers to fit like this rigid standard of the time. But then after she had passed, after she met her maker, her sister discovered like a chest filled with these small hand sewn booklets of her just like raw boundary pushing poetry that wasn't like modeled in some way to be published, and it was just like based. And so her sister ignored the instructions, right? This sounds a little familiar because her instructions were to burn the motherfuckers, but no, she did not relent, and instead she fought to get these poems published post-mortem. So Dickinson's entire legacy exists because her sister's refusal to let the booklets burn. So that's another person that's post.
Sorry for the extra sound effects. Keep going. I'm not trying to distract you.
Try as you might. I am not distracted. Nah, I'm completely distracted. I didn't want to say what that sounded like. But I lost my whole point, buddy. Where was I going
Emily
with that?
Dickinson's sister preserved her legacy by sharing her raw, unfiltered, uncommentary
Right.
poems.
So the whole point was accidentally or unintentionally. Unintentionally. She had this legacy in her mind set out for herself, where she was like, well, probably a lot smaller. She probably couldn't imagine the impact she has made on people through her poetry that she had no intention of ever publishing.
Right.
And that is something that lives on, that moves people and does the thing.
Right. So what do you think it is about the idea? Because I know we kind of laid the mapping out that legacy is mostly determined while you're alive, but for a lot of artists, the legacy begins after death, right? Like, I can't remember the artist, the painter. I think it maybe had been Pablo Picasso. Let me research this real quick. But none of his art was popular until after he passed away.
That is correct.
Was that Pablo?
That is Mr. Picasso. And honestly, it wasn't that long ago whenever he was alive. He's
Right,
one of the
wow, this-
most, like, more recent artists.
Right, like you think about Pablo Picasso in the same sense you think about like Michelangelo and Leonardo and DiCaprio and Donatello, all the Ninja Turtles, and you're just like, dude, Pablo. Also, I'm looking at a picture of him. Didn't he cut his ear off? I thought that was a thing.
That was Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh, fuck, dude. I don't know. I don't even know my art.
Van Gogh to the fucking corner.
Man, go see yourself out. But yeah, Pablo
You know what
Picasso,
you did.
he fucking wasn't popular, or what his legacy wasn't developed until after his death. And you find this a lot with a lot of artists where they're almost like revered even more so once they're no longer with us. Like even Oliver Tree, right? Like he was pretty popular
R.I.P.
Up
Mr.
until-
Oliver Tree.
right up until his death, right? He wasn't not like a nobody artist, but now it's like I knew people who have no business like ever even mentioning Oliver Tree because it's not in their realm of like conversation. But now since he's gone, people, everybody and their brothers and sisters is like, oh, Oliver Tree's music is great. And it's like, you didn't appreciate his shit while he was alive, but now that he's gone, oh, now it's like this niche kind of like novelty of like, now you want to celebrate him. Now you want to take a part of this legacy that he's created.
And it really speaks to the power of regrets, because a lot of those people was regretting not supporting this artist sooner and then passed. And then it's like, well, this guy was actually amazing.
So what do you think about like the negative aspects of like tarnishing your own legacy, right? Like Muhammad Ali or like Mike Tyson, famous fighters who fight far beyond their prime, and it kind of like damages their legacy a little bit. Is there something like, do you think that they maybe should have just left it while they were in their prime? Or because the urge to continue doing the activity that you're so passionate and vehement about is going to be, from a personal point, what drives you, but your legacy is at risk, especially with Conor McGregor, right? Recently, this fight with Conor McGregor where he hasn't fought in 5 years and he's on a losing streak. Everyone's hyped the fuck up because we all know the legacy of Conor McGregor being one of the most innovative fighters in the UFC history, from his loudmouth antics to his in-ring fucking capabilities and ingenuity and artistic way that he fucking fights. Then you see him step into the octagon and within the first minute blows out his knee and fucking goes down for a TKO because he can't continue the fight, right? So it's a stoppage. And now, what do you think that does to these people who continue to do the activity that gave them their legacy, but then they tarnish their own legacy by overstaying their welcome? Or
So here's the thing, right? The thing is it really living if you don't continue to write your story?
right.
So these people were continuing to write their story and do the thing that they do. And regardless or not that it turned up to be like some negative that it ended up with a bit of some sordid parts of it, they are still writing their stories.
Right. So
And
even though
that's the amazing thing about legacy, dude. It's not super set in stone. I mean, there are exceptions to this. But until you are done and you can't breathe no more and that's it, like, you still have a chance to impact your legacy in a
Right.
meaningful way.
Right.
And
so there's that aspect of it, right? Where you can still write your story, whether it's a good story or not, is open for interpretation. But then you have people who create their own opinions about it, right? Which leads towards the idea that you damaged your legacy. And then you have people like Khabib. I'm not going to try to say his last name.
Khabib.
But he retired undefeated, right? And his legacy will remain untouched and untarnished
on paper.
on paper, right? But you got to think.
That's throwing shade.
But you got to think, though, from a mental standpoint, what do you think that's doing to him? Because I'm sure he wants to keep fighting. I'm pretty sure he like retired because of his like family wanted him to retire. But like, do you think that if he came back and then, you know, fought and then lost, would you be one of the same naysayers who would agree that, you know, you should have stayed retired?
So let me ask you this. I will answer your question with a question. Is it better to burn out or to fade away?
I think that's subjective, right? Because
you could go in a flash. It could be a big, spectacular thing, or you can just fade off into the oblivion.
I think if you want to design your legacy, right, like we had mentioned prior, that not a lot of people really put thought into what their legacy is going to be. But these particular people, especially prize fighters, they put a lot of thought into their legacy, especially if they are a legacy fighter. And then when they come to a point where you're like, I need to retire while I'm on top. That way my legacy is preserved. And then you get to a point where like you're forced to retire, right? And then you don't get the choice to say, this was all up to me. My legacy is out of my hands.
That makes me want to talk about how much we think we have control over it.
Right.
And which I had kind of like hinted at with like accidental, like some stuff like after your life or like unintentionally can impact that legacy that you were like working so hard to build whenever you still could. But even then, like, do you know how many people have been rerouted from their plans and their conceptions of plans? Everybody. I guarantee every single person has had a plan, something come up, adjust, adapt, overcome. Like, it just becomes this thing of life that it is just always flowing. It's fluid. You were saying, though, with the fighters, if this is what words would you put it in?
What do you mean as far as like how they would plan it? Like I don't understand. So like these fighters, the way I interpret it is, if they were to put thought into their legacy and how they want to preserve their lasting impression for their work of art and their body of art, then they would want to remove themselves from any activity that would tarnish that legacy, right? Like Mike Tyson taking on the Jake Paul fight. You know, it was poorly received. It was like people knew he was slower. I mean, the guy's almost 60, right? So it's like, why would you go out there and do this if not for the money? You're just damaging your legacy at that point.
I wonder about that fight, too, because I watched it, and the first round he came out, he was doing the thing, and then it was like he was doing too well. And then there was a moment of him doing too well, so him just having to just like bog down and not do the thing that he's been training to do. Dude, I don't think that was a legitimate fight.
So that on one hand,
in my honest opinion,
look,
I don't think that was a legitimate fight.
I agree with you.
I think the first round he was like, all right, go out there and see what you can do. And then afterwards, he was like, "No, you want this paycheck?
This is what you're paid to do, right?
We got to go through all these rounds."
So the first thing you got to remember too is that, like, one, he's an older guy. You're not gonna see that same level of intensity right out the gate for an extended period of time. No matter how good you are, you're going to lose the gas in the tank at an older age. So I don't care if you're fucking Mike Tyson or who you are. Especially with Conor McGregor, being 37, in that kind of like world of fighting, age is a determining factor in how well you perform. So that's why a lot of fighters retire at like a young age, because they know if you keep doing it past your prime, you can't keep doing it at the same level that you were doing it at. And people will all say what they want to say because they weren't there, they weren't a part of it. They're going to have their opinions like, well, you look good in the first round. Maybe they told him to dial it back because he's getting paid to take the fall. But like, also, he's fucking ancient. Like, he has an older man. He would kick my ass for sure. But like, still, you got to take into consideration the fact that this is an older human being fighting in a young man's sport.
So I find it really fascinating that whenever we start talking about legacy, that the topic of fighters get brought up.
Right.
Is there a legacy that you think is more pinnacle than others?
I think combat sports would probably be the pinnacle, because when you have a short shelf life, right? Like you're there for a limited amount of time. Your prime has a small window, and you can only be appreciated at the level of your performance for a limited amount of time. Whereas like musicians, they can go out and do it forever. But even still, we were a part of a conversation where people were talking about Axl Rose. Somebody went to a concert of Axl Rose recently, and it was like, Axl Rose can't even sing Axl Rose. So it's like you're damaging your own legacy by continuing to perform when you can't keep up the expectations.
But the legacy, though, if you try so hard to be this fighter and you could put everything into it, but unintentionally, if you like eat the wrong thing or like some weird virus comes out and you are like, you get out there for a fight, it's like big, it's like televised, and then you like explosively like shit, it doesn't
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That would fuck your legacy.
It doesn't
up, wouldn't it?
matter if you was out there fighting Mike Tyson, McGregor, and their parents at the same time.
And that happens in professional wrestling a lot. When you see somebody do what is called a botch, where they fuck up the routine or the choreography, it doesn't matter what age they are. A lot of time, it can happen to anybody. Especially, I'll give you one example. Shelton Benjamin did a spot at WrestleMania where he did this highly acrobatic maneuver and he slipped and fell. And a person could argue that one activity right there alone damaged his legacy to the point where he was no longer viewed as this like legacy star. And you got people like what's the guy's name who does the you know what I'm talking about? Fucking this guy, he's really great on the mic, and he can talk, but he is notoriously known for botching in the ring. So when it comes to like how well you perform, that's going to dictate your legacy. So if you go out there and you fuck up, you're going to write your own legacy, and you're going to tarnish it, no matter if it's up to your genetics or your skill, or even if it's the weather. Because then you got people like Prince, right, doing the Super Bowl. Fucking phenomenal. Then a storm starts, and a lot of people would say, oh shit, this is going to be a defining moment. This is going to be, they're going to cancel the show. This is going to tarnish his legacy. But fuck no, dude. Prince goes out there and he does it in the storm, and he gives us a performance of a lifetime, which is arguably one of the best Super Bowl performances in history. So there's these moments that really, really define the legacy of a person.
So I want you to take attention to the terminology of a damaged legacy, or tarnished even. So this is something that I think we have just kind of like preconceived, that we just have this this idea that legacy has to be this one way, and if it's not, it's hurts, it's damaged, It's tarnished. And buddy, what do you think that's about? Like, how can a legacy be a thing that can be hurt or affected like that.
Well, just in the same breath that it can be defined good or bad. And the pro wrestler in question that I mentioned earlier, I would like to point out his name was LA Knight. And he is, in all rights, a top performer of high quality. But because he is known for having moments in matches that are botches, people will argue that he will not ever get the pro wrestling championship and be one of the elites. So even though his legacy is there, even though he has all the tools and the makings of a fucking historical pro wrestler, since he has these moments in his past, he may be prevented from achieving his true legacy potential.
The one that he designed for himself.
Even if he didn't design it for himself, it's what he's working for. It's what you're working for as any performer. Doesn't matter if it's pro wrestling. Doesn't matter if it's music. Doesn't matter if it's art. Doesn't matter if it's fighting. You have an expectation to perform at your best at all times. And some point in time, there's going to be a variable that comes into play. Be it the weather. Be it, like you said, getting sick prior to the day of. These little moments are defining factors. It could be, for us in the podcast world, stumbling over your words and stuttering and not enunciating with the right emotion or delivering incorrect information. Those kinds of things will tarnish your legacy, and it's important to be able to adapt and overcome, because if you let it get to you, if you allow those missteps and mishaps to affect you in the moment, then you will never achieve your legacy potential.
Legacy. Have you heard that word enough? Okay, so
for every time we say legacy, take a shot. We've killed like 20 people with alcohol poisoning.
So if you're still with us, if you have the generational curse of alcohol tolerance, let me tell you a little bit about the different categories that legacy kind of falls in, right? Because the ones that we were talking about, it's kind of a... well, let's see which one this falls into, right? So we have the creative legacy.
Right.
And that's the one we make. This is like tangible stuff that we leave behind. So this is like songs or like stories.
Or sculpture.
Projects. Yeah.
Art.
Yeah. And recordings that like capture a specific moment. So that can even be with the fighter. So even fighting is kind of like a creative legacy because, I mean, it's not like super set in stone. And then there's the relational legacy. Who we impact. And this is the one that I think weighs on my mind because it's the way we show up for the people we care about. And the support, the shared laughs, and even the sacrifices.
Right, which is
and
why
it
sellouts
ripples.
are a problem, right?
To who?
To the people who are up on the board, the train, and the legacy train.
To the people that care about them. It's like, why are you doing this? Like,
Right.
why are you, like, where is your integrity?
Where's the switch up coming from? Is it about money? Don't you care about your legacy?
And then, buddy, there is the transitional legacy. And that's how we change our path. And that was something I was talking about earlier about how you get this new information and then you change the plan. So it's about breaking the mold, learning a new trade, or like mastering a difficult ass skill. And it's about building a foundation so that whatever comes next is stronger than what came before. So that last kind of legacy is one I don't think we've really hit on in this discussion of different legacies. Because we've seen legacies that are entirely dependent on your physical well-being and how well you can perform. There are legacies that are entirely dependent on your creativeness, like on how willing you are to be vulnerable, how willing you are to put out something that no one else can. And we're all unique enough to do that. So, and then that last one, buddy, the people that like build it up. And that's, I would say that's more so like what comes to my mind is the technological people that are like really famous for doing technology, like Steve Jobs and the other ones
Like Elon Musk and fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
And those are the ones that have built that foundation that I guess, get stronger than the previous iteration. Like, they just, like, keep doing it and building it up. And that's a different kind of legacy to think about, because do you think Warren Buffett thinks about his legacy?
I think a lot of people at that level, it's hard to put yourself in their shoes psychologically from a relatable standpoint, but...
Because millionaires and billionaires are not like us. They
Right.
not like us.
They not like us.
They not.
They not like us. But yeah, like, I think that, I don't know, man, because if they did, then they wouldn't... You would think they wouldn't take the kind of risks they do, but a life without risks will not ever yield any kind of reward, right? Like, you have Mark Zuckerberg doing his panels and, like, expose on, like, Meta, and then it fucking flopping, and it tarnishing his entire legacy involved with, like, fucking being in the tech world. And then you have people like Elon Musk, who makes a gesture which is very Nazi-esque. And you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Is he a goddamn Nazi, or is he fucking making spaceships? And then you want to not follow that guy because now he's very extremely controversial and polarized.
There are some people that wish they did not see that.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
That's awful.
I see what you did there.
I'll see my way out. You're now the host. Goodbye.
I wish I also did not see that. I wish I did not hear that.
But yeah, so that's another type of legacy. And what is fascinating is, buddy, is that you and I will leave behind something that will transcend us.
Yes, our body of work.
Our bodies of work. And you know, I'm sure you are well familiar. La familia with the two deaths concept. So from that alone, can you guess this philosophical idea that I'm about to bring up? Two
It's
deaths.
the death of person and the death of an idea. I don't know, I'm guessing.
It's close enough. It's like whenever you physically die and the last time somebody mentions you.
So when your history, yeah.
So you have your physical where you just pass, you expire, that's it. And then that final utterance, the very last time someone speaks your name. And in that sense, legacy is kind of like an active buffer against like a second or third death. Because, okay, so like a second one could kind of be like whenever you're like lowered into the ground. Like the first one's like whenever you die, like past. Second one's like whenever you don't have like a body or like any like...
We get it.
Any like tangible...
It's when people stop talking about you.
And buddy, like... That's a lot to think about.
Right, because even if you didn't do anything, right? Like, even if you were just like an average person who lived your life 9 to 5, retired, had grandchildren, and then had great grandchildren, and then died of natural causes, your legacy is left behind in the family members who loved you and cared about you and shared stories about you until those family members got old and then they died, and then no longer was anybody sharing any stories about you. That's when your true legacy and your true history of who you are, that's when the real death comes.
Bam. Do you want to play a game?
Do you want to play a game?
I want to play a game.
Ooh, I like games.
So this
I stream them all the time.
This game at Arcano Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, life or death.
He's like, if I don't get these subscribers, I won't eat this week. I'll starve.
Yeah, if you don't follow, my children won't eat. I'll eat my children.
And then I'll die from some prion. Because you can't be eating people biologically.
Well, I can, but you can't. We
He's
dash
immune.
genes, bitch.
This game, buddy, I'm going to give you a list of people that have passed, and I want you to rewrite their legacy. Do you feel up for it, man?
I'm rewriting some people's legacies. Okay.
Does that sound fun?
As long as we're okay with my answers, let me roll for initiative on this.
Let's roll to see how fucked up your answers can be.
My answers are either going to be a crit success or a crit failure. Ooh, I got a 4.
You got a 4.
So every answer I give you is going to be unintelligible.
Okay, so if you could rewrite the legacy of Bob Ross, how would you do it?
Bob Ross's legacy is now a guy who slaps paint on canvas for the fun of psychological evaluation of his youth and the people who view him. If I'm rewriting it though, he does it for funsies. He just does it for fun. He's like, I'm also a therapist. This is a happy little tree. This is a very happy little tree.
Okay. Rewrite the legacy of Prince.
He also picks up electronical equipment and makes a lot of noise that also affects you at a psychological level. Whether you're washing your clothes or cleaning your house, you'll put on his tunes just to drown out your own depression. That's what he wants.
That's the rewritten. Okay.
Okay, I don't know if this is what you expected, but this is what you're getting.
This is, you know what?
I'm gonna go. The next one you give me, I'm going completely off the fucking like topic. Like they're gonna be something totally different.
Hulk Hogan.
I'll put my hood on, brother.
That's his normal legacy. What the fuck?
I put my hood on, brother, and I go to the rallies.
That's his normal legacy. What the fuck?
Okay, Hulk Hogan. I'm the greatest accountant that ever lived, brother. I'll balance your checks and check your balances.
Man, you know what? In a world where Hulk Hogan is filing your taxes, in a world where Bob Ross is that crazy guy down the street that is getting a psych eval from his paintings, and Prince is somebody who, in your words, how would you put it?
He's going to help you deal with your depression by making noise.
Yeah, that's what he already did.
That's his legacy of interpretation with a 4.0 fucking roll for initiative.
Awesome.
You didn't get a high charisma roll. This is what you get.
Yeah, you know what? It was in the dice, and sometimes the dice doesn't shake out. So, buddy, legacy. Oh, that was another one.
Ooh, everybody drink. All right, drink.
So, it is a trick of perception. A perspective, actually.
Ooh.
Perspective. So, like, whenever you are finally gone, you want to be around to, like, enjoy the status of it. So, is that not something crazy to think about? Like, you could do all of this and not reap any sort of reward of it, or not, well, not in terms of, like, the legacy itself. Like, your work will, in turn, like, pay back. But I'm just saying, like, for the legacy. I mean, some people are legends in modern day life, and their reputation precedes them. A lot of people will speak highly of someone like Keanu Reeves as a fucking living legend.
Right.
Because he's just like a really nice guy. And
wholesome.
Like down to earth.
It's
wholesome.
interesting about Keanu because like when we think of how great he is, it's not even just about his body of work. It's about like the person that he is. And that's really fucking important.
And I think that is something we should all strive for. I don't know. I'm not your doctor. Don't listen to me.
Take 1 or 2 pills of being a decent person each time a day, and you will eventually become fucking decent, you piece of shit.
Damn it, I couldn't afford it, so I had to get the generic.
Nah, you're half-assed
So I'm
decent.
like...
Instead of saying the hateful thing, you might block it out once or twice.
The fucking genericness of happiness.
I got that equate fucking filter.
It's like half a smirk.
It's like someone cuts me in line, and I'm like, instead of saying "you fat fucking bitch, wait your turn," I'm like, "Fuck." I'm not gonna say anything today. It's okay to be fat, but it's not okay to be a bitch.
And it's not okay to be a fat bitch.
And you can't be both.
Like, you gotta get your priorities straight.
Get
like,
your shit together.
Like, you...
One or the other.
Look, being fat, you already take up the space. But to be a bitch, too, you're taking up, like, mental space.
I personally like fat people.
Fucking hell.
First of all, like,
Okay, hold up.
I aspire to be a fat person.
Hold up. I think the implications of you saying that is that you are implying that I am...
You don't like
against
fat people? He doesn't like fat people. I've heard him say it. Not because they're fat, but because they take up more space than he has.
Fucking hell. That was a joke. I said 2 seconds ago.
It wasn't a
What
joke.
what the fuck else you got to say about?
This is reality.
No, think about it logically, Bo. Bo.
You buy a plane ticket. The plane seats are only so big, and then you have to sit next to someone who takes up both armrests, and you want to use like one, but you're in the middle, and you have two heavy set people on both sides of you,
And they got rolls just like,
and they're just
coming over to
they're
your
just
side.
like fucking taking up all your space, dude. You can't breathe. It's a real issue.
So I fail to see your stance on this, because now it sounds like you're on my side.
Well, I like fat people because I like the lack of discipline it takes to eat whatever you want and not exercise. But then there's also like the issue with like, you know, thyroid and like diabetes and like shit that people can't help.
That sounds so backhanded, and
No, it's not backhanded. I really wish I had that.
I'm not gonna.
I
gonna
wish,
unpack
dude,
this.
If
We're
I
not
could
gonna
eat
unpack
a
this.
dozen donuts and boxes of Little Debbie cakes a day, I would.
Look, we're not going to unpack this right now, because that's a whole ass fucking episode.
My legacy
Tune
is going
back
to be
in.
fucking, this guy has backhanded compliments on fat people.
Tune back in whenever we do a whole episode on fat.
Being fat.
Being fat.
That's why there's a whole reality TV show called The Biggest Loser. You know they don't name it that for a reason, right? Like they call you The Biggest Loser to hurt you.
Oh.
It's not like you're losing the most weight.
So
no,
that's why you
you're
couldn't
the
get any casting
biggest
calls
loser.
back.
I told you this
You're
already,
too
dude.
skinny for that.
I'm
like
envious.
you was like, it's in the title. I
I'll
should be
never
the biggest
that.
loser.
I'm the biggest loser without being fat. Let me be there. Just let me be the biggest loser.
Nah, man, you're the biggest winner in that I've ever seen, buddy.
I am not that big.
You're
You son
winning.
of a bitch.
You're winning at life, and
I am an average loser.
Okay, average loser. So the L word isn't actually about the future at all.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
I think this is probably
The L word. He's refraining from saying it because he said it 80 billion times.
look. We are done with. So it's called what is it called?
Semantics?
Semantification?
Jesus.
Somebody
fucking
knows
Christ.
this word. I'm not going to look it up because, I mean, even though I have my phone in my hands right now, I'm not going to look up.
That's how you know you got the L word.
Yeah.
Not that one, but a different one.
Look, this is the perfect opportunity for you, the listener, the viewer, the astral projector into this room with us right now,
Oh, shit.
to leave a comment telling me what the fuck am I trying to say. You know what I'm saying. It is an actual phenomenon. It is called semantification.
Let me see the word. Let me see it.
I don't have the word. I didn't look it up, Joey.
what
You're
the
not
fuck?
listening. This is
Semantification.
Samantha, like whenever you hear a word or
Hey,
read a word.
Siri.
Hey Siri, what the fuck am I doing right now?
What is the word semantification?
What is it called whenever you read a word? Or
Oh,
hear
it's
a
called
word?
Emancipation Proclamation. That's all I got.
Fuck, Lincoln.
God damn it.
It all leads back to Lincoln.
It all Lincoln's back to him.
It all Lincoln's into the park. So, the L word.
Ooh.
Oh, so it is a tool, a psychological tool
Ooh.
that we use right in the present.
Okay.
This is how we use it. It's a tool. We use it in
Okay.
the present to soothe our fear. Do you know what this fear is of?
Ooh. Being forgotten.
Of insignificance. Ooh. Is that not crazy?
What's wrong with being insignificant?
Well, the problem is that we overstate our importance. So whenever
Ego. Just say it's ego.
it is ego, it's a little bit of ego.
It's ego.
There ain't nothing little about my ego.
Because they want to feel like they're important and they want you to remember them.
So that's kind of like the idea of legacy, is that it is the opposite of insignificance. And we obsess over this echo because we're terrified of the silence that comes after we stop speaking.
Okay.
And
A little bit of dead air never hurt nobody.
but if we accept that the universe decides what to keep and that we can't control the echo, it frees us.
Ooh, I like that.
It frees us. 'Cause
Control the echo.
That's the pressure's off. You don't have to build an empire. And whenever you look at your own life, like, it can be whatever. It doesn't have to be Warren Buffett's.
You know, it's interesting because, like, from my, like...
He's catching another one.
No, from my psychoanalysis of, like, people who, like, I watch a lot of these, like, overly hyped, you know, really ultra successful people talk in interviews, and, you know, whenever they talk about, like, their L word, they they don't mention that they're they don't mention that they're ever focused on that, because that if they put too much energy into something like that, they can't focus on doing the thing.
It takes them away from the present moment.
Right. So these people are more obsessed with the activity that made them develop their L word versus actually fucking focusing on that. So these kinds of people, they're just more like, I don't care about all of that. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care about the time and the history that I'm leaving behind. I care about living in this moment, the next event that I have coming up, the next fight, the next art display, the next concert. They're more focused on driving home the current point of view in the current present time.
So what do you think it says about the people that want to live forever? What do you think that says about them?
Yeah, what kind of L word are they going to leave behind?
What relation to the L word do they have whenever they can't seem to let go that they want to live forever? Is that not the beauty of life?
Right. I do think the beauty of life is that it's finite, is that eventually it's done. Your book is written. You can't just write the book forever. The story has to end. And I think if you come to a point where you're like, no, we're going to keep writing this fucking thing, eventually you're going to run out of shit to write. It's got to stop at some point. And I think that if they're obsessed with their L word, then they need to, like...
I think we have, like, 3 more uses, so use them wisely.
If they're obsessed with their legacy, then they need to really think about being here temporarily and how much of an impact they have on everyone around them and how they're perceived, and then if everyone put any kind of information or any kind of thought into this, I feel like they would live a little bit of a different life. They would be a better person. They'd be a better people. They would they would design their future to have them remembered in a positive light.
Yeah, buddy. And just like life, this podcast too has to come to an end. Oh. But before we go, I want to know, anyone that is listening to this, I want to know what your idea of your legacy is.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered? What is something that defines you in this moment that you think will define your existence?
Yes, sir. And if you want to, you can always head on over to our Spotify or our YouTube accounts. That's at the Based Banter Podcast. Leave those comments in the comments section below and tell us, what do you want your legacy to be? And if you don't want to reach out to us on those mediums, you can always find us on our Facebook at the Based Banter Podcast and our Gmail at the Based Banter Podcast. And if you want to leave them there, that way they're not out in the open, you don't want to tarnish your legacy, you could do it there.
And if you don't feel comfortable using social media, we also receive mail by carrier pigeon.
Ooh, I prefer carrier owl, but whatever you can get.
Bougie.
A carrier bat. All right, dude, this has been a fun conversation, man, and I'm glad to have partaken in a little bit of development of our own legacy.
And what an awesome way to say legacy. Thank you all for listening. This has been the Based Banter Podcast.
Peace.